On Oscar nominations morning 2015, I had high hopes for a few select films and performances to get in. I wanted my favorite movie of 2014, Damien Chazelle's Whiplash, to be recognized in the Best Picture category, along with hopefully director and supporting actor. I wanted my second favorite film of that year, Boyhood, to also get in for picture and director. I wanted Gone Girl to make it in, The Skeleton Twins, A Most Violent Year. But if there was one nomination I was really hoping for that morning, one that wasn't in any way a sure thing, but I felt would probably happen, was Jake Gyllenhaal receiving an Oscar nomination for Best Actor for his extraordinary performance in Dan Gilroy's Nightcrawler. I wanted this riveting film to get multiple nominations: Picture, Director, Supporting Actress for Rene Russo, Supporting Actor for Riz Ahmed. But if it were to get only one, I pleaded with the universe to have it be Gyllenhaal. The man had been giving marvelous performances in movies for 15 years, and his only Oscar nomination up until that point was in the Best Supporting Actor category for his devastating turn in Brokeback Mountain. This was an actor who needed a nomination in the lead actor category by now, and if there was ever a performance to make it happen, it was absolutely this one in Nightcrawler, as a scarily thin petty thief turned freelance photojournalist with no morals and an infinite amount of ambition. But alas, the only category Nightcrawler made it into at the Academy Awards was Original Screenplay for Dan Gilroy. Nothing for Gilroy in Director, no nomination for Picture, nothing for Russo or Ahmed, and nothing for Gyllenhaal in the leading actor category. And here we are, in 2022, Gyllenhaal has delivered another dozen great film performances since Nightcrawler, if not more, and he still only has the one lone Oscar nomination on his resume. How did this happen? What are the roles he should have been nominated for but wasn't? In this video, I'm going to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal's astonishing career in film and discuss the reasons why he still hasn't won that elusive Oscar. First, let's start at the beginning. Jacob Benjamin Gyllenhaal was born on December 19, 1980, in Los Angeles, California, to film producer screenwriter mother Naomi and film director father Steven. As a child of a filmmaking family living in LA, he had immediate access to the industry, Gyllenhaal making his acting film debut in the 1991 comedy box office hit City Slickers. Also around this time, Gyllenhaal wanted to appear in The Mighty Ducks, but his parents didn't allow it because it would have forced him to leave home for 2 months. Gyllenhaal wasn't happy about this, as he talked about later to Howard Stern.
I definitely remember crying on the kitchen counter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Being like, what? Like, you guys are crazy.
And did your sister even step in? I mean, because
Maggie was like, ha ha ha.
Now, this isn't to say Gyllenhaal's parents refused to let him act at all. He appeared in 2 1993 movies, A Dangerous Woman and Josh and Sam. His first major role in the film came out when Gyllenhaal was 18 years old, 1999's October Sky, co-starring Chris Cooper and Laura Dern, and directed by Joe Johnston. The film tells the true story of Homer Hickam, played by Gyllenhaal, a coal miner's son who takes up rocketry against his father's wishes in 1950s West Virginia.
If it wasn't for y'all, we'd never gotten into any science fair. We probably never gotten past blowing up my mom's fence.
This was the film that put Gyllenhaal on the map. His face on the poster right next to Dern's, his wonderfully acted lead role in a well-reviewed Universal release, impossible to ignore. The Critics' Choice Award winner in 2000 for Best Family Film earned Gyllenhaal nominations at the Teen Choice Awards, Young Artist Awards, and Young Star Awards. From here, he immediately became an in-demand young actor, Gyllenhaal appearing in 6 movies in the next 3 years. He could have gone after big studio releases right away, roles in giant blockbusters that would have increased his profile even more, but what I've loved about Gyllenhaal from the very beginning is his passion for going after great roles, no matter the size or budget of the movie. Even at a young age, working with talented directors and superb ensemble casts was more of a priority for him than signing on for junky parts and forgettable studio movies. In 2001, he did stellar work in Lovely and Amazing from director Nicole Holofcener, and although I don't much care for Bubble Boy, you can't deny Gyllenhaal's wild, go-for-broke performance. His best film from 2001, and one of the films he's still best known for today, is Richard Kelly's haunting Donnie Darko, in which Gyllenhaal plays a teenager in 1980s Virginia who becomes plagued by scary visions after a bizarre accident rocks his neighborhood.
Okay,
But you're not listening to me. There are other things that need to be taken into account here, like the whole spectrum of human emotion. You can't just lump everything into these two categories and then just deny everything else.
It's a beautiful story, a remarkable feature film debut by director Kelly, with a tremendous cast that includes Mary McDonnell, Drew Barrymore, a chilling Patrick Swayze, as well as Jake's sister Maggie, the only time they've ever appeared in a movie together. Sadly, most people didn't catch this movie until later, because its theatrical release was a bit of a mess. After premiering at the Sundance Film Festival that January, the film received a limited release in October 2001, and with advertising that featured a crashing plane, few people wanted to see it in a theater mere weeks after the September 11th attacks. Donnie Darko made barely $500,000 at the box office, but then the film became a cult favorite on home video, making more than $10 million from sales there. So popular, Kelly eventually released a best-selling director's cut version in 2004. Gyllenhaal received an Independent Spirit Award nomination for Best Male Lead, and it's a film he is still asked about all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Donnie Darko, to me, is one of my favorite movies I've made and one I'm most proud of because it does sort of define, not the way I look at the world literally, but there are a lot of things in there that I believe about the world, yeah.
In 2002, he gave us some more fantastic work, like his complex role in Moonlight Mile, opposite Dustin Hoffman and Susan Sarandon. My favorite performance of his from this year is in The Good Girl. Most of the press for this one at the time was all about Friends star Jennifer Aniston glamming down for an indie dramatic part, but attention should have been given to Gyllenhaal's role too, as a stock boy who starts a romance with a married discount store clerk Aniston.
What you reading?
Catcher in the Rye. I'm named after it.
What's your name? Catcher?
She and John C. Reilly received Film Independent Spirit Award nominations for their work, but unfortunately, not Gyllenhaal. His only film performance in 2003 or 2004 was a rare, big-budget action movie for Gyllenhaal, Roland Emmerich's entertaining, if slightly forgettable, The Day After Tomorrow, but then Gyllenhaal returned with a vengeance in 2005 with 3 tremendous dramatic performances, one of which earned him his still-to-date only Academy Award nomination. Proof was the least successful of the 3, despite its great cast that includes Gwyneth Paltrow, Hope Davis, and Anthony Hopkins. Jarhead was the third feature for director Sam Mendes, after American Beauty and Road to Perdition. It didn't reach the heights of those 2 films critically and commercially, but it does feature an excellent Gyllenhaal lead performance that should have gotten more attention during awards time. Maybe the reason it didn't get much attention in early 2006 was that all the focus on Gyllenhaal in terms of awards that season was on the film Brokeback Mountain, directed by Ang Lee, and co-starring Michelle Williams, Anne Hathaway, and the late, great Heath Ledger. In this story of 2 shepherds named Ennis and Jack who develop a complicated, lifelong connection and relationship that starts in 1960s Wyoming, Gyllenhaal plays Jack Twist, the one who pursues the relationship and at one point insists they live together.
Tell you what, we could have had a good life together. Fucking real good life. Had us a place of our own. But you didn't want it, Ennis. So what we got now is Brokeback Mountain.
He's more open about his pain and desires than Ennis ever is, and Gyllenhaal captures those qualities so authentically throughout this groundbreaking and emotionally devastating romantic drama. Brokeback Mountain meant a lot to me at the end of 2005. I was 21, still a year away from coming out of the closet to family and friends, and I was always seeking out great LGBTQ stories in literature, television, and film. This one moved me a lot, maybe more than any other gay-themed film I'd seen, and a lot of that has to do with the stunning portrayal of a meaningful same-sex relationship, with all its ups and downs, Ang Lee treating the subject matter seriously and with great care. The film received rave reviews from critics upon its premiere at the Venice Film Festival in September 2005, and before the end of the year, Brokeback Mountain had become the movie to beat for the Best Picture Oscar. Everything just came perfectly together in this project, from the right director to tell the story, to the outstanding cast, to the well-planned release schedule, starting in just a few select theaters around the country before the film went much wider in early 2006. Critics and awards voters showered this movie with accolades, the film earning 141 wins and 133 nominations at all kinds of ceremonies. For the first time, Jake Gyllenhaal had a serious shot at his first Oscar nomination. He missed out on a Golden Globe Award nomination, which hurt his chances a little, but then he was nominated at the Critics' Choice Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and the BAFTA Awards. The most prestigious trophy Jake Gyllenhaal has won to date is the BAFTA Award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, for which he looked very surprised. His brief speech was, in a word, delightful.
Who thought that this would happen? I kind of wanted to go, hey! But, hey! Yeah, Jamie will love that. Okay.
And then on Oscar nominations morning, Jake Gyllenhaal made the supporting actor cut, alongside William Hurt for A History of Violence, Paul Giamatti for Cinderella Man, Matt Dillon for Crash, and George Clooney for Syriana. You could argue Gyllenhaal was a top contender to win this one, as Brokeback Mountain received 8 nominations total, and it was going into the ceremony the favorite to win Best Picture. With the movie receiving 3 nominations in the acting categories alone, was it possible for Gyllenhaal to be a surprise winner? I think, especially with his BAFTA win, that he would have been in second place. William Hurt already had an Oscar win behind him, and his running time at the end of A History of Violence is pretty brief. Matt Dillon, who received his first and still to date only Oscar nomination, probably got a decent amount of votes since Crash shocked the world that night as the winner in the Best Picture category. Paul Giamatti won Supporting Actor at Critics' Choice and SAG, so he had some heat to be sure, but he was Cinderella Man's only major Academy Award nomination, so there wasn't a lot of love for the movie, and as solid as he is in that film, I always felt those wins and nominations happened mainly to make up for his being overlooked the year before for his phenomenal performance in Sideways. Gyllenhaal certainly had a chance since he'd been doing great work for a few years, and Brokeback Mountain was such an awards favorite, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure Gyllenhaal, or anyone else for that matter, was ever going to beat George Clooney, who won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, and was also nominated at the Oscars for writing and directing Good Night and Good Luck. Clooney wasn't the favorite in either of those categories, so where could the voters give him the prize? Best Supporting Actor, of course. Even Clooney himself pointed that out at the beginning of his speech.
All right, so I'm not winning director.
Gyllenhaal was forced to stay in his seat, but that was okay. He's so talented, so prolific, he was going to be back soon with his second Oscar nomination, right? Right? Barely a year later, in early 2007, Gyllenhaal starred in one of his finest films, David Fincher's riveting drama thriller, Zodiac. Co-starring Robert Downey Jr., the film tells of an amateur detective played by Gyllenhaal who's obsessed with tracking down the Zodiac killer.
What do you mean there's no evidence? You have him seen with the ciphers, the military boot prints, the same size shoes and gloves, the most dangerous game, the Zodiac watch, the background with school children, the misspellings of Christmas, the bloody knife.
All circumstantial.
Fincher's masterful movie didn't get a single Oscar nomination, shockingly enough. Not for Gyllenhaal or Downey Jr., not for its glorious cinematography. Its March release date didn't help, and neither did its morbid subject matter, but this is a terrific film that should have gotten its due. Gyllenhaal's next few films didn't do super well critically or commercially, like 2007's major Oscar-bait drama Rendition, co-starring Reese Witherspoon and Meryl Streep, that landed with a giant thud. There was 2009's Brothers, opposite Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman, that would have been better received, I think, if it wasn't so clearly inferior to the Danish original, and there was 2010's Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which was supposed to jumpstart a new blockbuster movie franchise, but didn't. His next 2 films were slightly better liked. 2010's Love and Other Drugs, opposite his Brokeback Mountain co-star Anne Hathaway, which earned Gyllenhaal a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical, and 2011's Source Code, a riveting, action-packed thriller with a great ensemble cast. But I would argue the Jake Gyllenhaal renaissance of one great movie and performance after another started in 2012, with nearly 20 movies of his in the last 10 years I would consider good, great, or astonishing. Accidental Love is the only real stain on his resume in the 2010s, but that film had such a messy history and was barely even released, so he gets a pass on that one. Let's start the train of terrific Gyllenhaal films with 2012's End of Watch, co-starring Michael Pena and Anna Kendrick, and directed by David Ayer. This tension-filled drama, shot documentary style, follows 2 police officers in Los Angeles who are in over their heads as they chase after extremely violent criminals.
Plate's clean. Shit. What's our PC though?
Oh, it's that stupid CD hanging from his rearview mirror, obstructing his vision.
Let's do this.
End of Watch completely immerses you in its world from beginning to end, and Gyllenhaal and Pena are amazing together, so believable as partners and friends. This film, which earned Gyllenhaal Critics' Choice Award nomination, is simply a must-see. In 2013, Gyllenhaal gave us 2 more excellent films, both from the same director Denis Villeneuve, one film you've probably seen, and one you probably haven't heard of. Prisoners is the more widely known of the two, the long but fascinating drama thriller about the search for 2 young girls abducted in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no. Yeah, man, you bought children's clothes. Did I?
Gyllenhaal is stellar, and Hugh Jackman gives one of his best performances among an incredible ensemble that includes Viola Davis, Maria Bello, and Melissa Leo. Prisoners received a well-deserved Oscar nomination for Best Cinematography, but that's about all it got that award season. It was released a little early in the fall, and there were just too many other great 2013 releases that got more of a spotlight. The other film from the same director and year you might not be as familiar with, and which I tell every Gyllenhaal fan to seek out, is the strange hypnotic drama Enemy, which features Gyllenhaal in a dual role as 2 men physically identical but different in personality.
They kept the populace busy with entertainment. But other dictatorships use other strategies to control ideas, the knowledge.
Enemy premiered at the Toronto Film Festival and then received a quiet theatrical release by A24 in March 2014. The film goes to some places you don't expect, especially in its chilling ending. Speaking of 2014, oh yeah, that was the year of Nightcrawler, my #1 favorite performance by an actor in the entirety of the 2010s to not receive an Academy Award nomination. Gyllenhaal had given us tremendous work for so many years, but few could have been prepared for what he did with his role of Lou, a young man desperate for work who immerses himself in the high-speed world of LA crime journalism.
Now, when I say that I want these things, I mean that I want them, and I don't want to have to ask again.
Aided by a spectacular supporting cast that includes Riz Ahmed, the late Bill Paxton, and especially Renee Russo, who I think gives her career best performance too, Gyllenhaal has a stunning physical transformation that outdoes anything he's ever done on film before and since, and his obsessive, psychotic personality comes through his eerily calm demeanor in every fascinating scene. Dan Gilroy's Oscar-nominated screenplay is so meticulously crafted, building in tension even in quiet dialogue scenes, like the dinner date between Lou and Nina, and a ferocious raising of the stakes in that final high-speed car chase through the streets of LA. Released on Halloween in 2014, Nightcrawler managed to transcend the thriller genre with an original, suspenseful, and insanely well-acted morality tale I have not stopped thinking about since. Gyllenhaal simply had never been better, and as we entered the 2015 award season, I thought his first Oscar nomination for Best Actor was a sure thing, no questions asked. I thought the movie itself might be a tad too divisive to get into picture or director, but how could you possibly overlook Gyllenhaal, a great actor who had an Oscar nomination behind him in the supporting actor category and was absolutely overdue for a nom in the leading actor category? Well, let's see. He got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, as expected. He got Critics' Choice Award and Film Independent Spirit Award nominations for Best Actor. And then when he made it in at both the Screen Actors Guild Awards and at the BAFTA Awards, I thought that was it. The work was done. Gyllenhaal was coming for another Oscar nomination. I didn't think he could actually win any of these awards, especially over Michael Keaton for Birdman or Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything, but his performance in Nightcrawler was just too phenomenal to go unnoticed. He had to have the Oscar nomination in the bag, right? Right? Wrong.
I remember for this movie Nightcrawler, I went to the director and I was like, get ready for me to lose 48 pounds and win the Oscar. And then a week later, I was like, how would you like to see an actor lose 36 pounds and win the Golden Globe? And then I showed up on set and I was like, you're looking at a guy who gained 10 pounds and doesn't care about awards.
On Oscar nominations morning, these were the 5 chosen performances for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Michael Keaton in Birdman, Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game, Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, and Bradley Cooper in American Sniper. I think those first 3 were getting in no matter what. Birdman, The Theory of Everything, and The Imitation Game, all super popular that award season. Some might think Steve Carell is the one who took Gyllenhaal's slot, but I would argue it was Bradley Cooper. Carell, after all, received many important precursor nominations, like at the Golden Globes and SAG. He missed a Critics' Choice, oddly enough, and he was placed in the supporting actor category at BAFTA, but although it wasn't a sure thing, Carell's first Oscar nomination also wasn't much of a surprise. It was Cooper's inclusion in the Best Actor category at the Academy Awards that shocked everybody the most because he had missed everywhere else. American Sniper didn't receive a single nomination at the Golden Globes or at SAG. It only got BAFTA nominations for Adapted Screenplay and Sound. Cooper won Best Actor in an action movie at Critics' Choice, but that award doesn't mean much. So what happened here? Well, American Sniper was a late-breaking phenomenon, the biggest hit of director Clint Eastwood's long career, making more than $500 million worldwide, the film getting a limited release on Christmas Day, and then not going wide until mid-January. American Sniper came out so late in the season that many voters of those earlier award shows didn't even have time to screen it, and so it was the Oscar voters who were the ones who could shower it with lots of nominations, 6 in total, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Cooper. It was Bradley Cooper's third Oscar nomination in 3 years, after Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle, and this one was for a movie so popular at the time, so beloved, I actually thought for a hot minute Cooper might actually win. But the award, of course, went to Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything, and Jake Gyllenhaal, who gave my favorite male performance of 2014, didn't even make the final 5. It might have been close, we'll never really know. I genuinely believe he was in the 6th place slot, given all his precursor nominations. He barely missed, I would argue, because Nightcrawler wasn't everyone's favorite. It has subject matter that's ugly and grisly and dark, with a protagonist who's very difficult to like. So yeah, there were likely enough Academy voters who wanted to look elsewhere, including the also messed up and dark Foxcatcher, but more importantly, the well-timed blockbuster hit American Sniper. Regardless of this insane Oscar nomination omission, Gyllenhaal's work in Nightcrawler is one for the ages, an astonishing performance that is impossible to forget. So what came next for Gyllenhaal? He certainly didn't take it easy, because in 2015 he gave us 3 more movies, including the solid action-adventure Everest and the well-acted, if kind of slight, Demolition. The best of the 3 2015 releases by far, the one that featured another outstanding Gyllenhaal performance, was Southpaw, directed by Antoine Fuqua. In the film, Gyllenhaal plays a champion boxer fighting to get custody of his daughter and reviving his professional career.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't expect anything. I was really looking forward to just showing up, walking the ring, and then having him fall on the ground.
Southpaw received decent, if not great, reviews, and its July release date didn't keep it in the conversation long enough to give Gyllenhaal much awards consideration. A movie that did bring Gyllenhaal some awards buzz came out a year later, Nocturnal Animals, directed by Tom Ford and co-starring the great Amy Adams. This is a wildly inventive drama about an art gallery owner haunted by her ex-husband's novel, a thriller interpreted for us as a tension-filled revenge tale.
Okay, so let's exchange information.
Information?
Yeah.
Let's exchange information.
All right, we get out of the glove compartments.
Okay, I'm a Gemini. My favorite color's petal pink. I like long walks and kittens.
It's proof that Tom Ford is a born filmmaker. 2016 was a busy year for Amy Adams, who also had Arrival released around the same time. Shockingly, she didn't get an Oscar nomination for either movie, but more on Amy Adams in the next Elusive Oscar video. Nocturnal Animals was weird enough to never become a huge player that award season, but its unpredictability at the different ceremonies certainly kept the season interesting. Tom Ford got 2 nominations at the Golden Globes, and Aaron Taylor Johnson won Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture. This marked one of the weirder Golden Globe wins ever, because for the remainder of the award season, it was Michael Shannon nominated for Supporting Actor, almost always, not Taylor Johnson. In fact, Nocturnal Animals' only Oscar nomination, as it turned out, was for Shannon. He lost to Mahershala Ali for Moonlight. Nocturnal Animals' most prominent showings at one of the major award shows was at BAFTA, where the film received a whopping 9 nominations, including Supporting Actor for Taylor Johnson this time, as well as for Screenplay, and for the David Lean Award for Direction for Tom Ford. And then there was the surprise inclusion, I would say, for Jake Gyllenhaal in the leading actor category. This was his third and to date most recent BAFTA Award nomination after Brokeback Mountain and Nightcrawler. He had no shot in beating that year's Best Actor frontrunner Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, but his inclusion in the category was a great one. The only actor who did not go on to get an Oscar nomination. Jake Gyllenhaal didn't slow down, appearing in 5 more films in the next 2 years, like the little seen but excellent Wildlife and the underrated space thriller Life. His strongest performance around this time, the one that had the best chance at some awards consideration, was in the aptly named Stronger, directed by David Gordon Green. In the film, Gyllenhaal plays the real-life Jeff Bauman, who became a symbol of hope after surviving the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing.
I showed up for you!
This is my fault, right?
I showed up for you!
It doesn't scare me, Jeff!
I can't do it! Why do you even want me?
Gyllenhaal won Actor of the Year at the Hollywood Film Awards, and he made it into the Best Actor category at Critics' Choice, but the film just wasn't liked well enough to push Gyllenhaal any further than that. Gyllenhaal reunited with his Nightcrawler team for 2019's original, if less successful, Velvet Buzzsaw, written and directed by Dan Gilroy, and also starring Rene Russo. The much more successful 2019 release for Gyllenhaal was that summer's Spider-Man Far From Home, which featured a rare mega blockbuster appearance for the actor and his first ever in a comic book movie. There were rumors throughout the years of Gyllenhaal playing Batman or taking over the Spider-Man role in Sam Raimi's films if Tobey Maguire backed out, but finally we got a glimpse of Gyllenhaal in a wonderfully entertaining Marvel movie, and he gleefully sinks his teeth into the character of Quentin Beck / Mysterio.
There's a part of me that wants me to tell you, just turn around, run away from all this, and then there's another part of me that knows what we're about to fight.
Gyllenhaal was never going to win any awards for this performance, but it was a smart career move because it brought the actor a whole new generation of fans. It's crazy to think just how many young people were likely introduced to Gyllenhaal with Spider-Man Far From Home. Gyllenhaal's most recent fantastic dramatic performance came in what is essentially a one-man show, 2021's drama thriller The Guilty. Filmed during the pandemic, The Guilty reteamed Gyllenhaal with the Southpaw director Antoine Fuqua, and tells the story of a demoted police officer working a call dispatch desk who becomes conflicted after receiving an emergency call from a kidnapped woman.
I need the color of the car, okay? When I say the right one, say it's fine. Red, blue, black, white.
The Guilty is a claustrophobic story to be sure, but if you're a fan of Gyllenhaal, it's a riveting watch all the way through. The actor carrying the entire movie on his shoulders so beautifully and always keeping the viewer invested. This year, Gyllenhaal appeared in Michael Bay's action thriller Ambulance, and he recently wrapped a Guy Ritchie crime drama, The Interpreter, coming soon. So, as we reach the end of this video, the question needs to be asked. Will Jake Gyllenhaal receive another Oscar nomination in the near future? I think all signs point to yes. He's committed to great material, always taking chances and trying out new genres. Best of all, he's one of our most prolific actors, appearing in stellar projects almost every year. All it takes is the right role, the right director, the right timing, and Gyllenhaal's second Academy Award nomination is going to happen. I mean, let me say it one more time, he should already have at least 2 nominations, but nothing will take away from the marvelous films and performances Gyllenhaal has given us for more than 20 years now. He's one of our very best, an extraordinary actor of the highest order, and it's just a matter of time, I think, until Academy voters recognize Jake Gyllenhaal not only for a second nomination, but also for a much overdue Oscar win. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what is your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal film performance. Do you think he should have won an Oscar by now? See you next time.